everyone, I'm Zuzu. 안녕하세요 여러분, 저는 주주입니다. And in today's video, I will be making BTS BT21 Army Bomb covers, or I like to call them little coats. I saw them on Etsy and I thought they are so cute, and I thought it would be a good idea to make them and make a tutorial about it, because not everyone has a lot of money and Etsy can be quite expensive. And these things are actually not hard to make. I will show you every step of the way. The fabric that I'm using for this is fleece, because fleece does not fray. It is fairly easy to use and it's kind of fluffy. But if you want to use a fabric that's fluffier, you can totally do that. I just had the right colors still in some leftover fabrics, and I thought I would better use good waste than buying new fabrics. Yeah, like I said, this tutorial is beginner friendly. You can do this for sure. And if you're ready, then let's go and make them. So to get the pattern that goes around the neck of the army bomb, I would call it like that, I just wrapped my army bomb in some plastic foil and then I used some tape to go around it. I'm also putting it over, but you don't need to. I thought I could also make this for the pattern that goes over the bomb, but it doesn't work that way, so don't make the same mistake as me. So yeah, just focus on the ring that goes around it, and then get a marker and start drawing the ring around your army bomb, and then carefully cut it out with your scissors. Once you're able to get the foil off the army bomb, you can cut the whole thing open. And once you've done that, you trace the pattern on some pattern paper. You can also use a newspaper or normal paper if you really don't have something like pattern paper. And once you've done that, you can clean up the pattern, and you can also use a measuring tape to make sure that it's the same width everywhere. I didn't do that. I should have done that, but yeah, it's just what it is. And then the second part that goes over the army bomb is a long strip that is 30 centimeters long and 3.5 centimeters wide. And as you can see, those are the two patterns that I will use for all of the BT21 covers. So you just cut it out. Alright, so here is the base of Chimmy. I already did the ears, but I will come back to that later. So we're first going to look at this base. So as you can see, I haven't sewed anything together yet. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to sew this part, and I'm going to sew them like this. So what you want to do is get the good sides of the fabric and put them on top of each other, and then we will just sew along the lines here. So the kind of fleece that I'm using is kind of fluffy. This means that it will also hide the thread a bit more, so if you make any mistakes, it's okay. I'm going to use a very simple hand stitching. If you're already more advanced, if you want, you can use a sewing machine for this, or use a more advanced technique if you feel more comfortable with that, but I just wanted this to be beginner friendly. So we're just going to put the needle through the fabric first, like this, and then we're going to keep one of the threads on the other side. Here, you can see it here. I'll keep my finger on it, because if I pull accidentally on this thread, it will not go through the hole, so the thread stays right there, right? Then we go back very close to the point where we came through the first round. So we're just gonna go back like this. And what we want to make sure is that we keep a bit of the thread like so. Then we go back once again. But before we pull the needle through, what we do is we turn the thread 2 or 3 times around the needle. 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll pull the needle through, get it all the way out there, and you kind of pull a bit. Sometimes you also have to pull a bit on the other end. As you can see, the thread is not going anywhere. is completely secured right now. And that's how you start. And this is also the same way that I end my stitchings. Now, if you have some thread over there, you can take your scissors and cut it off. So the kind of stitching that I will use today is we have the thread over here and I bring my needle back through the other side. So it's going over. And then when you let the thread go and you pull it, it will go over like so. And you can pull it a bit more. And the good thing about the fleece is that it will fluffy. So if you move your fingers like this, it will completely hide the thread. So let's do it all the way up there. As you can see, we're at the end now, so we'll do the same as we did from the beginning. And once we're done with the back side, we still have to work with the big round that goes over the army bomb. So I'm just going to put this one on. And I'm making sure that this one is in the back like there. Okay. And then we need to put this on like so. So I'm just like really like pulling and seeing how tight I want this to be. And then I will pin it into place. So I think that for the tightness, so I will just pin it into place like so. Right? And then we go to the other side. It's funny because it goes exactly to the end. But yeah, I think this is a good fit if I just sew it like this. So we'll put it into place with another pin. And then we're going to take it off. And now we're gonna sew this part. Now obviously we don't want it to show it like this. So what I do is I'm just gonna remember that this is the point where one of them was. And then like this, pin it into place again. And do the same for the other side. And now it's time to sew this into place. So I will just make the start point here. And it's just like what we did in the beginning. So I'm just gonna pull it through here to the other side. I'm just going to remove the needle before I hurt myself. You have to go back in almost the same spot. So I'm just gonna do that. Go back in. And if I flip it out, you can't really see where the thread has been. And I will just go loosely in a few points over here. Right, what I like to do now is just to go over from fabric to fabric. And this is where I take smaller steps. I just go through close to the edge of the first, and it does go through the other fabric as well, like so. But instead of going back through the similar hole, I will go in the other fabric and I will point my needle a little bit towards the other fabric. And I will just pull. And I will do this several times. Okay, and once we've reached the end again, we will go back to the inside. We go down to the little flap that's here, like so, and we will make another end hoop like we did at the beginning. And this is what it looks like once it's been sewn into place. Now if you want, you can keep the little flap as it is, but if you want to clean it up a bit, you can cut it off, but make sure that you do not cut any of your stitches, otherwise you can do it all over again. So, and now we have to do the same on the other side, and that's basically the base. Do this one off camera really fast, and then I will go to Chimmy's ears. As for Chimmy, I already did a great part by showing the base, so I'm just going to show you how I made the ears. So I just freely drew some ear shapes, one smaller, one bigger, just to see whichever I liked best. In the end, I liked the bigger one better, so I cut that one out from the fabric. You need two, so I just folded my fabric and cut it that way. And then it's time to sew them, but first you need to decide where you want to place the ears. So I pinned them, and once I was happy, I started sewing the ears in. And I'm just using the same technique that you use with the base. So I'm just going over and into the yellow fabric, back through the black fabric, and then back through the yellow fabric. And that's how I sewed all the ears on. Right, so here is the finished Chimmy. There's some plushies here, but you can just take them off. So let's put it on the army bomb. Koya. So as you can see, the base is just the same as Chimmy's. The only thing is this one has ears. So I will show you how to make the ear and how to sew it onto the base. Alright, basically for the ears, what you need is 2 pieces of the blue fabric and 1 piece of the white fabric that goes for the inner part of the ear. If you're not entirely sure how to make the pattern, you can make a few paper samples first and just really hold it in place and just take a look at what it looks like. And based on that, you can cut your fabric. I basically kind of free-handed this out of the fabric, but if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can definitely make a paper pattern first. So what we're gonna do first is we're going to sew the white part onto the blue part. We're going to make a start, and I'm gonna do it in the white fabric first, in the little corner, and then we get the blue part again, we place it on the way we want to, and then we're going to put the needle just a little bit under the white fabric through the blue fabric. And then we go back in through the white fabric to almost at the corner. Then we go back in under the white fabric through the blue one. And once we're at the end, we will just make another point. Go a bit over with your fingers if you want to floof it up a bit. And take off any floofies you don't want. You can also cut it a bit more if you want to. Just make sure you don't cut your stitchings. And then the next part is to sew the 2 blue fabrics on top of each other. And with Koya's ear, I'm going to use a little bit of pillow fluff and give it some volume so that it won't be super flat. Don't think I will need much. I think about this is already good enough. And put the same sides on top of each other. And then we can see where one ear is. So the other ear should be right there. I kept the thread on even though I finished it off, so that I can directly sew it onto the base. And once we come back to the beginning, we take a little bit of fabric through the needle that's under the ear. We pull it through, we leave a little hoop, and we take our needle through it 2 to 3 times, and we pull it through, and then we cut the needle off. Koya! So Koya is done now as well. So for the ears of Cooky, we'll use the same technique that we did with Koya's ears. So fabric, I want it to be taller than this ear, and this ear is about maybe half of the fabric that I have right here, so I will have to make it a bit longer. I usually don't really make a template when I do these kinds of things, but totally feel free to make one. Maybe I'll have to make it a little bit thinner. This is usually how I make templates. I just try and try again. Well, I think I like this. And then this white part, we're going to sew it on the pink part, just the same way that we did Koya's ear. And now we have to sew the two pinks together, but leave the side under open. I'm just going to put some pillow filling in here to give it a little bit of volume. So what's going to happen is that we're going to place this ear right to the next one, so it will be right here. So I'm just going to put the needle through here. And then to finish the sewing, what I just do is I just take a little bit of the fabric under the ears, pull the needle through, keep a little hoop as always, spin it around my needle, and pull it tight. The next one to join the family is Shooky. So as you can see, I made the base and I'm going to show you how to make his little feet and hand. And I'm just gonna freehand a little paw out of it. I need two sides, so I will cut it while the fabric is folded. Yeah, it has to be smaller than these two because we're doing a little hand. So I will just I guess this is going to be too big, but we'll see, And then I'm just gonna cut the folded part. Yeah, I think it's like a bit too long, so I'm going to cut it a bit shorter. I'm going to sew it just like I did with the ears of Koya and Cooky, but I'm not going to fill it because it's just so small. So I'm just gonna go sew it all around, and then we're gonna sew it into place. So the step what I'm showing here right now is something that you have to repeat for all 3 paws or hands and feet from Shooky, but it is very small work, so it is done quite quickly actually. And now I'm just gonna take a look where I want to place this. Do I want to place it more down here, or higher, or do I want to turn it upside down? I think I like lower more. I think I will put it right here. Just gonna put my needle through there so that I know where I want to sew it. And just like how we did the ears for Cooky and Koya, we will also sew this little paw into place. So we're gonna just go through the base and then through the fabric, pull it through, and then we go back straight into the base fabric. And we go all around the paw. And once we've sewn everything, we go back to the inside, and then where the paw is, we're going to take a little bit of fabric through a needle, go through it, go through the thread like that. Shooky is also done. Right, so we've come at the end, and now we're gonna sew it like this. Just gonna go through a few times. So I'm just gonna put these 2 against each other, find the middle point. As you can see where the one ear is, then this is the place where the other should be. Right, and when it's all sewn, we go to the inside again, get a little bit of fabric there, pull it through, and then make another round around the hoop and pull it tight. I actually made one last change. I want the ears to be more lower, so I will just do 2 more stitches and then I'm just gonna finish it off. I feel like this ear went really well, and this ear is like, what happened here? I'm going to make his little red scarf. Right, so for his shawl, I just cut out like a really long end with like a triangle underneath. So wait, does he wear it like this or like this? I think he wears it like this. I think that's cute. Okay, and then I just got to make it into a knot. Alright, so now it's the time for Mang. And for Mang, I made the base just like every other, and then I made an ear just like I did with RJ. So we're going to make a second ear. This is about the shape that I used for it. I'm going to go all around again and squeeze it at the ends, and then we're just gonna sew it right there. Right, so again, we're putting these two on top of each other, and then we can see where to place the ear, which will be right here. And just like with all the other ears that we've put on the base, we're going all around again. And once we've been all around, we take a bit of the fabric again that's under the ear, and then we're going through the hoop again, 2 to 3 times, pull it straight, and cut the needle off. Right, so now Mang has 2 ears, but I actually really want to make a blue mane. I will fold it double because I want it to be double layered, and then we're just gonna cut something that will go over here. Right, so I came up with this. It doesn't really look perfect, but I think that once I sew it, it looks better, and then it will just be like so up until the purple part. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to sew it everywhere by hand, just like we did with the ears. I'm gonna do that off camera, so I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I'm done. Here is the end result. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to sew this right here in the middle. And then I'm also going to sew it right here on the purple part. So I really wanted it to be in the middle, so I'm just putting the ears onto each other. I think I'm going to let it start about in the middle of here, because I feel like here is still the face, you know, so I will just let it start right there. And then I'm just gonna sew it on this side and on the other side. Alright, so now we sew it into place over here, and now I just want to put this little point on the back here. I actually also made a little heart. Tata! Well, I kept Tata for last because I think he's the most, perhaps the most difficult to make. So I got the base ring here, as you can see. Alright, so what I did for Tata is I actually did cut a strip of red fabric. I kind of played with how I wanted this to be. I suppose this can be a little bit difficult, but what you can do is just drawing the shape of Tata's head, like the heart shape, on paper and put it against the fabric like this, and then you can cut it out of fabric. I'm a little bit impatient, so I didn't really do that, and I just went along with it by cutting fabric. That's why I have so many fabric waste. But if you don't want to waste fabric, then I would recommend doing this on paper. What I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna cut another one of this, and then I will sew it here, and then I will get a second one and put it like this. So this needs to be mirrored so that it has this side, and I'm going to put it like this, and then I'm going to sew the edges of the two together. Alright, so I just did a little test by pinning everything, as you can see, just very loosely to see how it would fit. Now this is what it looks like after I've sewn everything, and I'm going to just sew it the same way as I sewed this part here. So I will just pin it in the right place where I want it to be. I think a bit like this. I think this looks cute. And then I will take it off the army bomb and sew it. So this is what's going to happen. So I already sewed it and it will be sewn into place like so. But first I want to fill this up with some pillow fluffing, pillow stuffing, or whatever you want to call it. So what I did is I did keep these open so that I can really push it through, and I also kept it open on the other side. Yeah, the heart is a bit lopsided, so I think this part can be directly sewn onto here, whereas this part is a bit too long. Just going to put a needle right there, just so that I know that that's where I want it to be. Alright, so I went ahead and I already sewed this one into place, and now I'm just gonna put this one under instead of over. We are going to sew it right here again, just like what we did with Chimmy. And if you think the red thread will show in the blue, actually it's not that bad, as you can see right here, if you just stay close to the edge. So we're gonna just stay really close to the edge and then go back through the red. Yeah, so we just need to add the yellow dots on the blue, and Tata will be done as well. For the round spickles is I just cut up small things like this from the yellow fabric, and then I just turn it around in my hands until a little ball, and then it comes out like that. And I'm going to glue these on the blue part of Tata. I think I've added enough yellow dots. It was quite a lot of fun to add, but yeah, here is the finished Tata. I really like this one. Now that was the tutorial. I hope you guys liked it and that it will be helpful if you want to make your own BTS BT21 Army Bomb cover. I mean, such a long name. If you're going to make your own BT21 Army Bomb cover with this tutorial, then don't forget to tag me on Instagram, because I would love to see that. And if you're really insecure about your skills and about making them, then stay tuned, because I think I'll be hitting 1K subscribers pretty soon. It's unbelievable for me that I'll be hitting 1K soon, but I've decided that for the 1K I will do another giveaway, and I will give away another surprise box with BTS items and the BT21 BTS Army Bomb cover. Then you can choose whichever you want and I will send it to you. Yeah, I'm just really excited about this. It was a lot of fun to make it, and I just really hope that this video is helpful for you to make your own if you don't have a lot of money, or if you just want to be creative, that's fine too. Yeah, that's where I think I will end this video before I talk too much. See you all in the next video. Okay, bye bye.